I do have you beaten him.
I will whoop your ass.
Bro, I'll pop that gap right back in that mouth. I'll have you looking like a saber gap tooth tiger. Oh my God, I'll do you dirty. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You suck.
Oh my, here we go. Hey, not the same fighter. Hey, not the same fighter. Not the same. Hey, when I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say? When I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say?
I watched. I was there.
Hey, no, when I put a beat on you. I'm talking about you. You got no power. You got no power.
And you lost. And you still scared him to this day.
No. Bro, I'm gonna knock that gap right back in your mouth. I'm gonna knock that gap into your mouth again. Hey, you fix the teeth. You fix the teeth. But I'm gonna knock that right back in. Bam.
It's Shakur's time right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, this is like back in the days, right?
Shakur Stevenson didn't even wait for the dust to settle before jumping straight into a live interview and firing off a cold, direct warning at Ryan Garcia.
He's right there. Shakur Stevenson, let's go. Let's run that. Hey, I want to be a great champion, and I'm not scared of. I fought Devin Haney, I fought Shakur.
With a calm voice and sharp focus, he made it clear if Ryan Garcia really wants that fight next, it's not just about getting outboxed.
Stevenson, I'll fight anybody. Let's be low.
You know, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan. Shakur Stevenson was on our DAZN broadcast earlier, said he's levels above you right now. What do you think of that?
The thing is, like, you gotta have some type of punching power to get me off you, because it'll be a different style, and I'm not gonna hit him light. Nah. Every time I get out, boom, I'm putting it on him, you know. I want that fight. Shakur, let's get it. I see you, hey, I like the hat. You look fly, but I want that work. Let's get it.
The scary part? He said it like a man who's already seen the outcome. No theatrics, no yelling, just that calm, composed energy from Shakur Stevenson, which honestly hits hotter than any trash talk.
Good versus Ryan. I think he wiped the floor with him. You know, I don't think Ryan gonna be able to hit Shakur like Barrios. Barrios was right there to be hit. Barrios was too slow. Barrios didn't have no game plan. He followed them the whole fight. And Shakur is not going to be that fighter to be hit on.
Ryan Garcia wasn't celebrating quietly. He grabbed the mic, adrenaline still buzzing, and called out Shakur Stevenson, asking if he's ready to break that savior mindset and prove speed beats slickness when it matters most.
We're very fast. You're going to see people that are quick back and forth. And Shakur knows that he can't get lazy with me at all. That's why, like, he was looking at me right now and goes, "Ooh, you're not even big." I'm like, "Bro, you were scared if I was big? That's crazy. Like, that's what you were scared of?" All right. So I got a little glimpse on what he was kind of worried about. But size don't win fights at all. You seen that today. Mario was bigger than me. But I was.
That contrast is cinematic. Shakur Stevenson speaking like a surgeon predicting damage. Ryan Garcia speaking like a storm demanding the biggest challenge available.
Shakur fight, how does it end in your opinion? Decision, knockout?
We'll hit him with a body shot, he's done.
Why the body shot?
He can't take his body shot. We already know.
Really?
Yeah, and he doesn't have a better jab than my son. My son has an awesome jab. We beat him in the amateurs, okay, with the jabs. When Ryan was young, Ryan was only 16 years old. But he qualified 17, 18 with Shakur. Shakur was on that level. So if you're within 2 years, they're going to put you in that category. Okay. And I said, Ryan, we didn't know Shakur. They didn't know us. But I said, you know, Ryan, let's work on that jab. Ryan was throwing that beautiful jab. Pop, pop, pop. I said, okay, that's what we're going to work on. Let's start off there.
One promises precision punishment. The other promises explosive chaos. If that exchange turns real, we're not just talking about a fight anymore. We're talking about a style collision loaded with ego, skill, and pure psychological warfare.
I'm open to all those, you know, whatever. You know, Shakur, somebody that I fought in the amateurs, and we went at it, you know, and I felt like I beat him. But, you know, the politics in the USA Boxing at the time were a little different, and I still got a chip on my shoulder. I've been wanting that rematch for a minute. Hopefully we get it. And, you know, when my hand heals, I'll be looking for that opportunity.
That looming warning from Shakur Stevenson about future smoke suddenly gets drowned out by pure father-trainer emotion the moment Henry Garcia grabs the spotlight. This wasn't a calm victory lap at all. It was years of frustration, criticism, doubt, and redemption all pouring out through one microphone. The moment Henry shuts down those rumors and calls the stories fabricated, you can feel it. That's protective mode fully activated. Not just defending a fighter, but defending his son, Ryan Garcia.
Oscar, apologies if you've already been asked about these two opponents, but what do you think a fight with Shakur Stevenson looks like? They talked about fighting each other next. What do you think that fight would look like?
I love the fight. I mean, look, there's so many options there for Ryan now. Everybody wants to fight him. Everybody wants to dethrone the pretty boy, you know. And now that he has a world title, everybody's after him. So I think it's a matter of just regrouping, let Ryan rest, and he'll make his decision.
The temperature spikes when he starts firing back at critics like Chris Algieri and others. You can literally hear the emotion in every word. Not polished PR talk, not media-safe answers. Just raw parental pride mixed with competitive vindication. When Henry Garcia says, "They don't know my son, I know my son," that line hits harder than any breakdown. That's identity talk, not boxing talk.
Been doing testing his entire career. He's fought for interim titles. When he fought Tank Davis, we were doing VADA testing and it wasn't for a title. He's been testing his entire career. Every single time we set up a fight, we sign a contract, there's VADA testing. There's no such thing as dropping out of VADA testing. So all those stories are just fabricated. People try to hate on Ryan, and they're just excuses for Haney to feel good about himself. You know, Haney wants to have an excuse as to why he got beat up, and that's it. So
Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia's energy in that same moment feels completely different, more reflective. He's thanking the team, talking about diet, discipline, conditioning, and how he used to just swing without thinking. That low-key confirms this new version of Ryan narrative they've been building all camp. One side, emotional fireworks. The other, structured gratitude. That contrast is what makes it so interesting. Henry Garcia is verbally battling critics while Ryan highlights growth and preparation. I also appreciate that subtle nod from Ryan toward Golden Boy Promotions right after all the tension. That strategic maturity, showing through the chaos. When a fighter starts celebrating growth and preparation instead of just result, it changes a whole tone.
Quick, I want to go back to the haters because I got to let this off my chest because I won't be able to sleep. But Chris Algieri, you're a piece of okay?
My God.
I'm sorry. You and your corny ass partner, okay? Not believing in my son. Sergio Mora, I ran into him and he said, "No, your son made me a believer, so I'm not going to go too hard on him." Okay? Robert Garcia, weird, man. Oh, my son can't go over 6 rounds. Sorry, dude. They don't know my son. I know my son. Okay? And every father should know their son.
That proud, emotional energy from Henry Garcia suddenly shifts the moment Joe Goossen takes the mic. Now the tone flips from protective passion to calm, surgical honesty. That contrast is fascinating in real time. Goossen opens with humor, setting a relaxed vibe, but the second he says, "That's exactly how Ryan Garcia fights," you can tell that's veteran acceptance, not surprise, not excuses.
Well, the answer to your question is, yeah, I know he did it for me, but I told him before, we had dinner last night, and I said, "You know what, Ryan?" I said, "I appreciate that." I said, "But you know what? You've already won."
Joe Goossen acknowledges the stylistic reality they walked into. He admits they prepared for the speed, the footwork, the trickiness, and still points out that Ryan Garcia outscored them. That line hits harder than any headline because it's composed truth, not emotional spin. He even breaks down the inside, tying up, and foot movement, like a coach replaying the chessboard in his head. That's a technical read disguised as politeness.
What were your thoughts on Ryan's performance?
Look, that's exactly how Ryan fights. That's exactly how I knew he was going to fight. We tried to prepare for it as best we could. I think, you know, aside from that knockdown in the first round and a few other shots Ryan landed, we blocked a lot of his shots. Ryan obviously outscored us.
The subtle jab comes when Joe Goossen mentions a first-round knockdown and a few key shots. That phrasing quietly tells you momentum moments mattered more than volume stats. Then he pivots to size and the weight drain for Mario Barrios at 147. You can hear the balance. No excuses, just acknowledging the physical reality like a seasoned strategist protecting his fighter's dignity. The coldest moment. When he says you don't really train Ryan Garcia, you collaborate with him. That elite translation, instinct-driven, self-styled, unpredictable even to elite trainers. When Goossen admits he was needling Ryan mid-fight just to get reaction, that's veteran mind game, subtle, calculated. He gives Ryan full credit, calls him champ, praises his speed and IQ while respecting Barrios' toughness. No bitterness, no chaos, just composed realism after a high-stakes fight.
He's tricky. He's great on his feet. He'll tie you up on the inside because that's not his favorite place to be. And then he'll move around and walk you into some shots, and if you stall out on him, he'll come and get you. You know, he's smart. He's smart. And he's fast. And he's fleet of foot. So he's got a lot going for him. He's champ.
That calm, almost professor-level honesty from Joe Goossen, saying Ryan Garcia does what he wants, suddenly flips into a completely different gear the moment Wade Plemons jumps in shouting domination. Both takes are describing the same reality, just from opposite emotional angles. Wade says Ryan started the fight like the world was watching. Facts. The way he stormed the center wasn't just aggression. It was psychological ownership. He clocked in early and never clocked out. Then Wade keeps hammering that jab to right hand sequence, and it clicks. This wasn't left hook merchant Ryan. This was upgraded, calculated violence with real setup layers. When he points out that first right hand hurting Mario Barrios early, that's a turning point you can't ignore. Momentum didn't build. It detonated. Wade still gives Barrios credit for toughness while calling it one-sided, which lines up perfectly with Goossen's early tone. Respect without excuses.
Ryan, I've known Ryan for many years, and I got to tell you, Mario Barrios is a fine young man. I love the kid. He's really a wonderful, classy human being, Mario Barrios. And so is Ryan. We're all friends. It's a small community, the boxing community. So I'm happy for Ryan, and I'm sad for Mario Barrios. You know, he put a lot of work. Jonathan and I trained Mario, and we put in close to 3 months of a training camp with him, and it was serious, hard work. We were doing round after round of training. Now, I will tell you, and I don't make excuses for anybody, Mario, you saw how much bigger he is than Ryan. He had to make 147 pounds. I think it's going to be the last time.
When Wade Plemons says boxing needed this version of Ryan Garcia, that's not just hype, that's industry psychology. A violent dominant, locked-in Ryan brings back star power and unpredictability in one package. That sells better than any safe performance. Then he pivots to Shakur Stevenson watching closely, and the tone shifts from celebration to danger. It's speed and explosiveness versus surgical control. Wade questions whether this version of Ryan could shock Shakur again, bold, risky, entertaining, especially when he points out the evolved right hand and full 12-round intensity, quietly dismantling that old mental lapses narrative. Dominating Mario Barrios proves world level, but Shakur, that's a different puzzle entirely, not a durability test, a thinking test.
Mario Barrios, one tough SOB. He was not going to get knocked out in the first round, and come to find out he wasn't going to get knocked out at all, but that was a tone setter for the fight. And it was like, from that moment on, Ryan had almost zero issue with Barrios, and Barrios had no answers for anything Ryan was doing. And again, I told you, go back and watch my video. Yes, the left hook was prevalent and it landed in this fight, and Ryan was devastating with it, but it would be the right hand. It would be the hand that everyone forgot that Ryan Garcia had. And one, to be fair, he hadn't shown had been as devastating as his lead hand for a very long time. That would be the difference.
That matchup stops feeling like fantasy and starts looking like a real stylistic clash the sport can't ignore. When you zoom out past all the noise, the Shakur warning, the emotional speeches, the calm honesty from the corner, and explosive breakdowns, the real story isn't just that Ryan won. It's how the entire narrative shifted in one night. One side spoke with surgical confidence about levels and knockouts, while the other answered with performance, discipline, and a version of Ryan that looked sharper, more calculated, and far more dangerous than the chaotic version critics kept labeling. You had a father defending legacy, a veteran trainer accepting reality with composure, analysts calling domination, and a rival quietly circling, already studying the tape. That's not just a post-fight moment. That's the beginning of the next major storyline. The conversation has evolved from can Ryan stay focused to can his upgraded, explosive, disciplined Ryan solve the most technical puzzle in boxing? That's where it turns cinematic. Power versus precision, instinct versus control, chaos versus calculation. If this trajectory continues, the Barrios fight won't be remembered as the peak. It'll be remembered as a spark that lit a much bigger collision waiting at the elite level.
It was shocking to see Barrios dominated like that. Like, Barrios has been stopped, right? He's been beaten, but there was no pillar to post beating that I've ever seen anyone put on Mario Barrios like Ryan Garcia did tonight. And again, the variety in the shots, upstairs, downstairs, the lead hook, he would frame with the jab, which is something I love when fighters do. He would 1-2-1 and frame with that lead hand. And then when Barrios got past the lead hand, bang, left hook, pivot out, right hand. It was like he had an answer